They're running in the side of the top 10 on scratch, and great to have those cars here, brand new cars basically, that run within the Ginetta GT Academy. And that car's just fighting with some of the Caterhams at the moment, including Barry White there in his Caterham Super Sport, who's at the front of that little train of cars. They're three pretty quick cars there together, but the Ginetta and the Caterham, both British sports cars here, but very different types of car.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ginetta, having recently announced they will be taking their championships to support the British GT Championship primarily for next season. A problem for another Mazda there.
John Stack.
It's John Stack in 56E, but he's got his car going again. That's a car with the Italian tricolore striped over the middle of the car. That was down at the Vale that he had his issues, but he's back into the race once again. Yes, the Ginetta's switching from the Toka package to run with British GT for next season. I suppose that does have some logic behind it. There is a ladder of progression towards British GT there.
Yeah, and the Ginetta G56, what those cars are based on, Ginetta, I think, already announced that they're going to run a number of those cars with the V8 GT4 car in British GT next year. This is Malcolm Ediston in his Toyota MR2, the Don't Hang About team, the team run by Rogue Motorsport. And he goes up a gear, then back down a gear into Abbey Corner. Then thinks about going back up a gear, thinks about it. No, he's not going to go up a gear in.
No. So there he is at Village round the hairpin. He goes. We go back on board with him now as he goes through this complex, which shortly will bring him back onto the Wellington Straight, back onto the national part of the circuit, the northern end of the Silverstone campus. That's the 13 car out there as well, and that is the Club Racing UK team. That's Cameron Bell out there at the moment in the Page and Kirk backed car, back on board with Malcolm, who's signalling, I think, for someone to pass him on his left.
Do you reckon they can see it?
I don't know. There's a car there, and it is the, I think that's the Scrivens Ginetta, is it? The Everett Ginetta, is it not?
Yeah, the V8 car that we could hear earlier.
Yeah.
Can see it now. So I should think that's one of the quicker cars on the circuit at the moment. That's in the proper British GTs team, isn't it? We were talking about British GT earlier on. And you can hear the V8 engine that's in that car, not standard, as it accelerates through Cops Corner. Other cars, you hear their tyres more than the engine.
That's right, that's right. Here's the Ginetta, the Radical, I should say, coming through.
Good to see still quite a lot of British sports cars in this race. I mentioned the Ginettas, the Caterhams, Radicals as well.
Yeah.
Tyler Ballard is out there now, isn't he, in his MG ZR. He was race winner this year in the MG Trophy, and he just lapped the Peugeot there of William Hornty. I think that was. He was a hot hatch regular.
I can see that Run Baby Run, we just saw that on our timing tower there. They're back up to 15th position. They're just fallen behind. That's the team of Sports Specials drivers. That's Team 10. I'm not sure who's out for them at the moment. Was it Nigel Brown last time we saw? There is 18F, and that is the Clio of Justin Ross, is it? In the Clio. Had a little moment up there at Club Corner.
Yeah, that's the ex-Dan Gibson car, isn't it?
That's right.
Raced formerly in the Clio series. There's a great mix of cars come through here into Stoke Corner. At the front of it is Sarge Sofashari with his BMW, who I think in the past has worked on the 751 Club Rescue Unit.
He has indeed, and normally races this car in the BMW Car Club Racing Championship with the 750 Motor Club.
Not sure where the Honda was going there.
A different line. Not quite sure what that was all about on the way into Club Corner. Either way, probably going to get past the BMW before too much longer, is he? Going to have the inside line. It's Team 46. And who's out for them at the moment? If we can work that out.
It was Nick Charlie,
Yeah, see, it wasn't a few moments ago, wasn't it? Yeah, 46C. The Caterhams mixed in here as well.
Yeah, in there you've got Tim Steele in the Caterham 310R, which is sort of the highest rank of Caterham motorsport ladder before you get to the British Championship cars, which will be racing here at Silverstone on the British Touring Car Package next year.
That's right, yes, that was announced in the week, wasn't it, that there'd be a guest slot to the BTCC, taking up some of the slots vacated by Ginetta.
And they're changing clubs as well for this year, which is interesting.
Yes, moving to BARC from BRSCC for 2023. So, coming up to the midway point of this race, see the sun glinting off the damp circuit in this Birkett 6-hour relay race. Hello, if you've just joined us on the live stream produced by AlphaLive. And you're very welcome to join us here. And if you're at the circuit as well, enjoying the great British weather at Silverstone for this 6-hour relay race, hello to you. It's good to hear from Josh that there was a race meeting for the first time. What a meeting to choose. I hope they're enjoying their day.
Yeah, I understand that the child came to the museum on a school trip recently and enjoyed himself, so his mum thought, let's go racing properly. So I hope they're having a good time. I showed them around a little bit while I had some time off earlier. That he's got a 750 mile club badge now to wear to school next week.
Yeah, half term over. So, in terms of the race and what's going on at the moment, I mean, it is in a bit of a holding pattern. Have we got the 2.5 hour bulletin yet? No, we've not. I just had a look for that a moment ago because we'd like to give you the update on the handicap positions before too much longer, but they haven't as yet appeared on our downloads.
See, Phil Nibb is still going in that Seat. That's a long stint he's had, and he's got the car up to 6th position on scratch, and he's a long way now ahead of Capture Motorsport, who he was behind not that long ago. So he's done a good job here, and they were well up on handicap when we last saw them.
One of the Z4s there, which one is that? I couldn't quite spot the number.
I think the genetic's probably a bit easier to work out. That's the G20, so that'd be Luke Plummer, I think it is. In the more standard, I think, G20. And the Z4 tries to come up the inside into Village. But Lewis Fields is down at Capture Motorsport there in the pit lane.
Thank you very much, Ian. It's Sylvain Guinteri, who's running with Capture Motorsport in car 16. Sylvain, World Superbike Champion 2014. Welcome to the Birkett.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, actually. We're here having fun, trying the TCR car for the first time. So it's been great. We had a bit of a test day yesterday, gone really well. So yeah, loads of fun today.
Yeah. Well, so the lines are the lines on a motorbike, a race bike, and a race car similar?
Well, kind of. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday, actually. The TCR car, because it's front-wheel drive and the way you brake and kind of like tipping the car in with the like trap braking, that is very similar to what we do with the bikes. You know, brake hard immediately and then trap brake to the apex. So yeah, in that respect, there's actually quite a lot of similarities. But then again, you know, you got a bit more weight, a lot less horsepower or power to weight ratio anyway. So it's a bit different, but it's great fun. Yeah, great fun to be on 4 wheels, trying something a bit different. And I've not ridden on track on 4 wheels for a little while, so it's great to pick you know, the reflex back up.
Well, that's good. And yeah, because TCRs they're great looking cars, aren't they? And yeah, you know, it's good to see you here. So the Birkett, obviously, it's a bit of a unique sort of race. Do you have anything like this in France?
I don't think so. I think the first time I heard about the event was my best mate entered the race, so we decided to go at it together. I think it's great because, you know, you can get together with your mates, share the drive, enjoy the day, and the handicap system makes it so all the cars can be competitive. So Yeah, it's a unique race, and the way it works, in my opinion, is that you can come with your mates, have a lot of fun, enjoy yourself on track.
Well, that's the main thing, isn't it? I take it you must be sharing with Andrew Shepard.
Yes, I am. Yeah. Andrew's been a good mate for many years now. He's just going into cars as well, and hopefully we can do a little bit more next year as well.
Are we going to see you out to do some more four-wheel racing?
I don't know, maybe, yeah. I still race in the World Endurance Championship motorbikes, so I'll still be doing that next year. But it's only 4 events, so if I can find some free weekends, because I also do all the races, MotoGP races as a consultant for BT Sport. So if I can find some free time, I'll definitely be back.
So yeah, you're a busy man then.
Yeah, really busy, yeah.
And Dalmasso, right, so I have to compliment you on your English, it's pretty good.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I've been here 20 years, so there's no merit really. So yeah, the English is almost like second nature now.
All right, Sylvain, thanks very much, and enjoy your session.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and back to you in the studio.
Thanks very much to Lewis Beals, and we've got Andy McEwen back with us in the commentary box. Josh has gone off to take a break. And if you enjoyed your hour's break there, and are you ready and raring to go for another couple of hours in the box?
I think so, yeah. It was nice to get outside and enjoy the sunshine, actually. It's a really very pleasant afternoon here at Silverstone, which is not something I expected. So, been enjoying my day immensely. Had a wander up and down the pit lane, chatted to a couple of drivers, and everyone that I speak to says how much they're enjoying the event, whether it's their first one, whether they've been doing this for 10, 15 years. They absolutely love coming and doing the Birkett. There is no other race like it. And now that we're starting to get to a properly dry track, they're really able to stretch the legs of their various cars, and that's what they want to do. You know, you don't get the opportunity that often to race on the full Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, and so given the chance to do so in the dry conditions, they are only too happy to do it. So good race shaping up. The handicap starting now to play out as well, and having just moved into the second half of the race now, I look forward to seeing exactly what that running order looks like, hopefully in the next few minutes.
Well, we've got right now the 2.5 hour position, so let's give you a rundown on those. This is the handicap positions, everybody. So it is now in the lead, Team 1, RAF Team Flywheel. So that is the team that won last year, as the car 32B is off the road. That's Marco Anastasi in his Ginetta G56 DTA, the Data Motorsport car. Marshall running over to see what's going on. Where on the circuit is that?
That is on the inside at Club. He was slow coming, and there was a screech of tyres, I heard, and then he was slow coming through the first part of Club and pulled off the road. Okay,
let's carry on with the handicap positions. This was at 2.5 hours. So first number 1, RAF Team Flywheel, and they have 61 laps. The first 6 teams all on 61 laps. So second, 59, Royal Navy Motorsport. Third, number 69, the Mazda Misfits. Fourth, number 3, AAA's Racing. Fifth, number 68, Red Rascal. And sixth, number 44, Too Fast, Too Furious. Then a bit further back with 60 laps to their name, though that takes you all the way back to about 20th position. But 7th, number 8, Motion Motorsport 1. 8th, number 35, Cat Dads and Their Lads. That's Carmel Port Dads and Their Lads. 9th, number 33, TSR Performance. 10th, number 54, Z Cars 3. 11th, 23, Four Corners. 12th, number 63, Rutec Racing's BMW Compacts. 13th, number 11, Lock Stops and 2 Smoking Tyres in 13th place. 14th, number 20, Grounding Pussy. 15th, number 58, Army Sports Car Racing. 16th, 62, Rutec Racing's BMW Triers. 17th, 31, Don't Hang About. 18th, 22, St Winifred School Choir. 19th, number 28, Motion Motorsport 2. And 20th, number 49, Very Random Races. But it is, as I say, at the moment in the handicap race, RAF Team Flywheel, Team 1 that are in the lead. That's Chris Slater in the Peugeot 306 GTI, Alex Smith in the Honda Integra, Simon Frowen in the Ford Fiesta, and David Russell in the BMW 328i. And as I say, Chris Slater was part of the team, as was Simon Frowen, and as was actually those are the only 2 survivors from that team, that winning team from last year, that won last year, that are leading here at the moment. And certainly Chris Slater was also part of the team that won in 2017 as well.
And we just saw him actually about to be lapped by the little Ginetta G20, so the little Peugeot leading the way. Just came through to complete another lap, and that number 1 car, just to give you some idea, is running 19th in the scratch race, but that is still good enough at the moment to lead the race outright. He's 19th and he is 9 laps off the lead, but of course had a pretty reasonable credit, 29 credit laps. So in other words, for the number 14 car that leads on the road right now, to beat the number 1 car on handicap, they have to lap them at least another 19 times or so, which is not going to be that easy to do, given we are now into the second half of the race.
Yeah, that's right. It's a long way to go, of course, as we said earlier on. If you get any more safety car periods, then that will be factored into handicap credit laps that are given as well. Saw a glimpse of David Drinkwater to be able to be compact there, hot hatch champion for a 4th successive year, and one of 2 surviving amigos. We started with 3 of them, but we've lost Paul Hinson during the course of this race. David Drinkwater's gone so well in hot hatch for the past few seasons. And there you can see, I think that's still full neb out there in the Cooper as well, but there are yellow flags at this part of the circuit, and that is where we saw the Ginetta off the road.
It is just on the inside there, so that's going to take a little bit of moving as well. The grass, you would imagine, will be a little bit damp and boggy. Won't be that easy to push the car out of the way. Right, every time I glance at the screens, there seem to be radicals close together on track. This is the number 15 Radical that runs 2nd in the race on the road, and they're number 29, which runs in 3rd, but there is a lap between these 2, I believe, Ian. So whilst they are together on track and together on the timing screen, it's not necessarily quite as close as it looks, but important here for the number 29 car to try and get one of these laps back. 6 in the slipstream down into Stowe Corner. Chooses, though, in the end not to dive to the inside line, and so they stay single file halfway around this, the 73rd lap for number 15, and that is the 46C car off on the grass here.
Nick Chartier in the Civic, he's rejoined the circuit, and back into the race he goes, having taken a bit of a shortcut there in doing so. 29, is that now Charles Graham? Is it 29B car now? There we go. Or is it still Wade Eastwood that's out there? Just a good opportunity there to check on the letter on the side of that car. We'll try and keep an eye out for that. But that, as you say, Andy, is the car that's trying to get a lap back on its position. There's one of the Salikas from 7 Motorsports coming through. That's the Team 38, Stuart Donovan, Seb Hobson, Wayne Cochrane and Lee Mabbott in their Toyota Celica's. Good to have them with us during the course of this race. We've seen them on and off during the regular 750 Motor Club season.
The recovery process ongoing down at Club Corner. So Marco Anastasi, who's been racing in the Ginetta GT Academy Championship this season, has unfortunately had to pull the car off the road. These Ginetta G56s proving very, very popular this season, and that one unfortunately suffering what seems like a rare mechanical issue.
Josh is on the walkabout in the paddock. He has spotted the car 64A, that's the MG ZS of Carl Green. It's quite badly damaged there in the paddock, so that possibly involved in one of the incidents. And that's the wing that's just fallen off the back of that Leon, I think, or something like that. Let's see the rear of that car as it comes through. Yeah, it's the wing, or part of the wing that has become detached. It's now sort of grown horns, hasn't it, as it gets on the power, and the elements of the wing. Look, that's bizarre, isn't it? That's the 50A car, isn't it? So that's the ST Performance car for Jamie Hayes, the Seat Super Copa. And you can see the damage to the wing, but yeah, very odd how that's just sort of fallen apart, disintegrated down the hangar straight, it would seem.
Yeah, you could argue that the rear wing wasn't providing a huge amount of downforce on a car like that, but it's certainly not now. Any downforce it was producing will be sorely missed, and that is a failure, I think, rather than contact damage. Certainly for the part of the circuit at which it seemed to go would suggest that it was a failure on the wing itself.
Early on in the race, RG Motorsport 2, Team 30, lost time, and that was because Leon Morel had an oil failure. So it wasn't an incident as such as he was involved in. It was an oil failure they're fixing the car now. So that's another report from Josh Barrett, who's getting the news from down in the pit lane as to what's been going on earlier on in this race. it's good to have this insight of what's going on there. Now, you can see that, is that going to be for the pits, do you think?
Well, I don't think it's affecting the performance of the car particularly. And no, they're going to carry on, aren't they? So, yeah, I doubt the driver may not have even noticed, actually, unless he spotted it in the mirrors. Certainly shouldn't be affecting the handling, actually, as much as you would imagine. Certainly, if it were a Radical, for example, that had a failure of a rear wing, a Radical relying heavily on aerodynamic grip, downforce through the corners, then it would be more of an issue. But I think they'll carry on unless the clerk of the course spots it and doesn't like what they see. And then we might end up with the car being called in for a change. But if the team feel it necessary, they could bring the car in, couldn't they, and just send somebody else out in its place for the next little period whilst they get that sorted. But for the time being, it doesn't really seem to be affecting things too badly, does it?
No, you're right. It's still sort of circulating at a reasonable speed. See Martin Shelton's Mazda 7 going through, the grey car with the pink roll cage. And there's the Lotus out there as well. Pit cars they put into Vale. That's 18A that we're looking at the moment. That's Dave Charlton in Mrs. Mansell's Misfits in his Seat Leon. And he's just heading down the Hamilton Straight now for a lot. Probably just working a quick update on the top 10 on Scratch as well. I've not done that for a little while, so for those of you at the circuit maybe who need an update on that, it is number 14, Doris NWH leading, 75 laps in the book. Second, number 15, World Motorsports, 74 laps. Third, number 29, RJ Motorsport, 173. Fourth, number 30, RJ Motorsport, 72 laps. Fifth, number 12, AAA G Sport, 70 laps, same as number 3, AAA's Racing. Seventh, number 16, Capture Motorsport, 69. Eighth, number 48, Darkside Motorsport, 69. Ninth, number 51, Area Motorsport, 69. And 10th, number 36, Get to the Chopper, also on 69 laps, with 2 hours and 47 minutes to go.
And within the back half of that is your Class B lead group, the Class B now being led by AAA's Racing, who have just moved actually into the top 5 overall, ahead of the Prep and Play G Sport number 12 squad. So AAA's Racing, one of 4 teams to have had a stint at the front of Class B, and they have developed at this point of the race a pretty decent lead actually over Capture Motorsports.
Within that class, Darkside's Motorsport, they've had a pretty troubled race so far. The Audi, which we saw stop on the Hamilton Straight in, I can't remember if it's the second or third safety car period now, that had an ABS failure, and it wouldn't restart when they tried to reset it. And now the Golf within that team, that's got a turbo boost problem as well. So Darkside Motorsport team has got Ryan Parkin and Danny Sylvester with the two different cars that they've got. Not going particularly well. And there is a slippery surface track, which is now, just to say that, being withdrawn.
Slippery surface, or more likely debris,
yes,
from the failed wing
yes,
on the Seat, I suspect. So the fact it's got in means the debris has been moved. Whether a marshal moved it or whether it just got knocked out of the way by another car, I'm not so sure. I suspect probably the latter, yes. But it's cleared the track anyway, so that's one less thing for the drivers to worry about. That's a slightly close moment. 65E, the Porsche there trying to nip up the inside. That was Gary Campbell in the Porsche 944, trying to find a way past 56E, which is the, I think, only Mark III Master MX-5 of Aldo Riti. It's Aldo's second stint in the race. I know that car was out during the second hour of the race, I think. So Aldo Riti turning straight across the Porsche there, not quite realising that he was up the inside of him. Let's hear the fourth placed RJ Motorsport 2 car running reasonably well. This car, as you said, has had its issues, but when it's been running well, it's been among the fastest cars on the track. It's lost that fastest lap, I noticed, since I last was in the commentary box, but it has got the potential to run every bit as quickly as the other Radicals ahead.
Yeah, we had a few fastest laps in succession, and ultimately it's the Doris NWH team. I think for Shane Stoney, 206.31. But we've not seen improvement since then, probably because we've mostly been back in green flag running and therefore back in traffic, whereas I think probably they did, some of the Radicals managed to get 1 or 2 clearer laps when they could get really good lap times rather than have to think too much about the cars that they needed to overtake.
Indeed so. 3 safety cars already during this 2022 Birkett 6-hour relay race at Silverstone. Now that the track conditions are a bit drier, hopefully realise as I say this I shouldn't be saying this, but hopefully that's the last we'll see of the Renault safety car. We certainly avoided it with Marco Anastasi's Ginetta. There are lots of places you can go off here at Silverstone that will not result in a safety car, but one or two of them finding the rare points of the circuit where it did need a safety car intervention to get them back underway. There is Chris Slater coming out of Luffield corner. Chris is in fact heading for the pit lane. This is the car that, well, 40 minutes or so ago was leading on the handicap race, and he brings the little Peugeot into the pit lane. Chris Slater, an avid sim racer actually these days, uses that to get better with his real racing. That is a car in a gravel trap, Ian, and that's the 65E car that I'd just seen of Gary Campbell having that close moment with Aldo Riti, and he's now in the gravel trap, I think potentially down at Stowe Corner.
Yeah, that's the Porsche 944 of Gary Campbell that's stuck there, I'm afraid. And I'm not sure that Marshall's, they're going to try and dig him out a bit with their bare hands. All credit to them for trying. Let's see if this works though. It may need some outside intervention to make it all work.
See, I told you not to say that thing about the safety cars, Ian. That was foolish.
Oh, right, here's the two radicals again, which are still together on the road, aren't they? Albeit a lap apart, effectively. And it's the 15 radical that is ahead on the timing screen, and then getting back ahead on the track as well, or maybe not. Staying around the outside of the 29 car, which is the Arden Motorsports 1 team. All of a sudden, yes, the car that was trying to make the move was fallen behind a couple of back markers.
I nearly had contact with a couple of back markers. That was very sketchy going into the braking zone at Village. The Radical, of course, capable of braking a lot later than the big heavy saloon cars around it, and that almost ended in contact, but actually not a huge amount of time dropped through that sequence of corners for the number 15 car, which heads back down the Wellington Straight now, in behind the Ginetta G50, the only G50 Ginetta in the race. Don't see many G50s actually racing anywhere these days, having long since been replaced by the 55 and nowadays the 56. The inside of the Ginetta they will go, and 9B, that was the Ginetta, the Dylan Popovich Ginetta G50, which will allow the two rapid radicals through. And now another opportunity then for the 15 radical to make a move, this time to the outside into Copse Corner. Risky place to try and overtake here, whether it's for position or not, but it looks like it might just work. Very close together at the apex, and let's hope they both came out on the other side in one piece.
Yep, so we are watching them head down towards Beckett's once again, and yes, they're both still there, aren't they? The two radicals, they're picking through a Lotus and a Caterham, which waves them through, waves one of them through anyway, and the 15 car follows through. But as I say, these are not battling for position, they're effectively about a lap apart, and a lap, well over a lap behind the leading car number 14 as well. Yellow flags, and that'll be for Gary Campbell's car, I think, won't it, at Stowe, but that is being covered under single waved yellow flags at the moment. We're going to pan around to see the car. No, we're not. But we see the cars as they head down towards the Vale once again, and they're past there. The number 13, is that the Fapro Civic? That's down at Club Corner.
Yes, Club Corner no longer under yellow flag conditions. I noticed they got the Ginetta onto a flatbed truck, so Marco Anastasi and his car en route back to the paddock, but provided the team have noticed that he'd gone missing, they should have already sent somebody else out in his place. That team comprised of a group of Ginetta G56 Academy drivers, Axel van Niederveen, Mauricio Sciglio, and the aforementioned Marco Anastasi. Data Motorsport will have lost a bit of time, but hopefully not a huge amount. There goes the 15, still running in second place. Now, lap time wise, all of that battling in traffic really costing them time. They were a full 14 seconds slower than the race leader last time around. So, and the same was true of the 29 car as well. So they really were delaying each other and being delayed in traffic. And you only take 1 or 2 laps like that, and you can lose the best part of half a minute.
Yes, absolutely. It just goes to show how much time coming off, not only battling with each other, but trying to fight your way through slower cars as well. And there's a lot of that to be done, of course, in the Birkett 6-hour relay race. there is the JCB hooked up now with Gary Campbell's Porsche 944, so the marshal power wasn't sufficient to get it moved, but tractor power is, by the looks of it. And that's going to get back out off the gravel trap, and hopefully yellow flags will be removed at that part of the circuit.
Yep, shouldn't be much longer. Of course, that will also lead to big chunks of time lost in traffic, because if you catch a back marker or a group of back markers into a yellow flag zone, you're still not allowed to overtake them, even if it's not for position. There's no overtaking allowed at all. So if you are in a radical that's capable of going maybe 3 seconds quicker through Stowe Corner than a Toyota MR2, then you're going to lose those 2 or 3 seconds straight away. So there went the Marco Anastasi Ginetta being stretchered off on the flatbed truck down the wing pit lane. And there's a quite handy internal road system here at Silverstone, so once they've got the car off the track, there's always a way to get the cars back to the paddock without too much of a delay. So back towards us come the second and third placed cars, continuing to circulate nose to tail here.
Red Rascal were going well at one point in handicap, Team 68.
Yes.
But they've had one of their drivers unfortunately disqualified from the race. 4 points on their licence. As we see 65D, which is that's Birkett, isn't it? That's
yeah.
Sam Callahan. We've seen him out for the second time in this race. It's not going well for poor old Sam. But what I was saying was Lee Phillips from that team, 68C, he has been disqualified from the race because he passed the black flag 5 times without stopping. So he should have taken a stop-go penalty, missed the black flags, and he's been disqualified from the race.
Okay, Sam Callahan there just having an animated conversation with the marshal, explaining that there is damage to the left front corner, steering or suspension damage. There's also a bit of a tyre mark in the road where he potentially has had some contact with somebody to lead to that. Anyway, the Porsche is buried in the gravel trap down at Brooklands Corner and going no further, and as you can see from that camera angle, it's right in the firing line should anybody else get it wrong. There's also a lot of overtaking going on into what surely is a yellow flag zone, something that I'm sure will please Josh Barrett should he be watching this particular part of the broadcast. That is very dangerous and should not be happening, and really at the end of a long straight like that there's not much excuse for missing the yellows, but anyway, it's happening, and I'm sure that again race control will have a keen eye on that.
I'm sure they will. We saw Martin Schultz go through there in the random racers car, didn't we? So he's not the random racer car. That's not the team I want to say. Where is he on the list? Anyway, the Chevrolet Lamina. He's out there. And we're on board now with. Is this Magnussen again? Yes, it is.
Yep, down towards Magnussen Beckett, just hitting the rev limiter slightly there as he turns in to the quick left-right change of direction. Brilliant sequence of corners, very flat but very, very fast as well. You can see the rear of the car there just starting to step out slightly as he leant on it, off down the Hanger Straight, and in wonderfully clear track actually, Ian, by Birkett standards. That was quite an empty bit of racetrack in front of him until the BMW came blasting past, but it's a rare moment during this race where you can relax a little bit, enjoy the clear air around you, and try and gather your thoughts, because within a corner or so you'll probably be surrounded again.
Absolutely right. Very random races. That is the team 49 that Martin Short is a part of in that Chevrolet Lamina, the car that raced in Bahrain in the one-make race supporting the Grand Prix. I think something like 17 years ago now, 2005 I believe. We're on board for the moment with this Malcolm Edison driven machine, heading onto the Hamilton Straight underneath that new pedestrian bridge, the glass footbridge that goes over the circuit, heading in towards the right-hander at Abbey, then it's the left-hand sweeper at Farm, and then it'll be on the brake shortly, down into the hairpin at Village, so down through the gears. Actually only dropping down 1 gear there, isn't it, interestingly, for the Village part of the circuit. Runs wide over the curbs on the exit. Is that in his coaching manual, I wonder? And back through the next 2 left-handers, and then it'll be back onto the Wellington Straight, and he's just been passed. Is that by one of the dark side cars? I think it might be the dark side Golf that's just gone past. And we have a safety car.
Don't look at me like that, Ian. Yes, 2.5 hours to go, and we do have our 4th safety car period of the race. And I've lost track of what this... Oh, it's for the Callahan Porsche, I guess, isn't it, down at Brooklands, I would imagine, unless someone else has thrown themselves at the scenery. There you can see it. And that is a difficult place to recover a car from, even with the live snatch and the opportunity to throw yellow flags at that part of the circuit. It's still not the safest thing to do to have marshals out there, as we've seen. People sometimes don't spot the yellow flags, sometimes slip off the road should there be fluid on the track. So it was the safe and sensible thing to do, throw the safety car, and hopefully it won't take too long to get that car out of the way.
So a good time then to go through the handicap positions after 3 hours. Now, after 2.5 hours, I think we had 20 cars within 2 laps of one another. Well, now there's 3 laps, 74 back to 71, covering the top 20. Let's give you a rundown on who they are. It's now a change of lead because number 3, Triple A's Racing, are now in front. That's Andrew Raff, Andrew Etheridge, Phil Nibb and Christopher Etheridge. Probably helped by that long Phil Nibb stint. Nice and consistent that we saw. There's 9B in the pit lane, by the way. That's the Dylan Popovich Ginetta G55 V8 in the proper British GT team. Trying to clear that out, but looks like there's smoke, something overheating in there. Let's go back to the handicap positions though. So 74 laps completed by Triple A's Racing on handicap, along with Mazda Misfits number 69. So that's Simon Walker Cancel, Stephen Rees, Alex Wilkinson Hughes, William Pickard, Nico Favo and James McCann. Third is Team 59, Royal Navy Motorsport, Adam Jewis, Seb Unwin, Gareth Moss and Simon Vernon. They're also on 74 laps. Then on 73 laps, you've got the team that was leading half an hour earlier, Team 1, RAF Team Flywell. They're now a lap behind the leaders. As are Team 11 in 5th position, Lock, Stops and 2 Smoking Tyres. Who's in that team? I don't think we've talked about them too much during the course of this race. So that's Adam Lockwood, Jim Mew and Danny Bryant in their MR2 Mark III. So that's a nice, consistent team. 3 cars all the same. Always helps, I think. Then 6th 35, the Commonwealth Porsche Dads and their lads. 7th number 2, RAF Team Perardua. 8th number 8, Motion Motorsport 1. 9th 63, Routec Racing's BMW Compacts. 10th 62, Routec Racing's BMW Triers. 11th 28, Motion Motorsport 2. 12th 58, Army Sports Car Racing. 13th number 22, St Winifred's School Choir, still leading Class C. 14th number 44, Too Fast Too Furious. 15th number 32, Dayton Motorsport. 16th number 31, Don't Hang About. 17th number 6, PBN Racing. 17th number 18th 33 TSR Performance, 19th 46 MJ Motorsport Team 1, and I'm pleased to say that still in the top 20, Team 20 Browning Pussy.
Excellent news, yes. So every time we look at these handicap positions, they have changed, and that's rather the point. In fact, we were totting up our points with our little predictor game that we've got going on, and a conversation was had about half an hour ago between a couple of us as to whether you want to be scoring well at this stage, because in theory this should all come together in the last half hour, really, shouldn't it? Those who are further down the order now on the handicap should still have time to make their way to the front.
Was it Luke that was telling you that from his position at the bottom of the table?
Well, yeah, actually I gave him that idea. I'm just going to put that out on record now, and he rather hijacked it, but I thought I'd give him some hope, because yeah, as of half an hour ago he wasn't doing terribly well, I have to say.
Well, they do say that it's the hope that kills you, so hopefully he will still be with us at the end of this. 2.5 hours left, 4th safety car period of the race. We've just given you the handicap positions after 3 hours, still no change in the overall scratch race lead. That's Doris NWH leading the way at the moment. In Team 14 from 15 War Motorsports, then the RJ Motorsport Team 1 and Team 2 are 3rd and 4th respectively, 29 and 30, and then 5th number 12 Prepon and G Sport, and they are fairly well spread out because the leader has completed 82 laps and 77 laps for the team in 5th position. Update on the points there. It's now a 4-way tie. How exciting could this be for the lead of our prediction competition between myself, Josh and Andy, and Samantha Stoney. Thank you for entering into the fun, Samantha. And sorry, I didn't see who was last. Oh, Luke Austin in 6th and final position on...
Biding his time, I reckon.
Yeah,
biding his time.
Exactly. He said he was going to only update it every 2 hours, and he's updated it there on an odd number of hours. He was just desperate to see some improvement. I don't blame him, to be honest with you. So, it's all rather quiet again, isn't it? We're behind the safety car. Hopefully, the Sam Callahan car can be recovered fairly quickly. We can see that the recovery truck is now on the scene of that car. And we think possibly there was some contact that meant that poor Sam has ended up, I think, needing to be recovered for the second time during the course of this race so far. So, all not well for him.
Yeah, it's a fair assumption there was contact, but it could just be a steering arm failure or something. But those Porsche Boxsters, well built, aren't they? So they don't tend to just brake all by themselves. But perhaps when he gets back to the pit lane, we can find out. Speaking of the pit lane, Lewis Beals is down at Raw Motorsports, I believe. Lewis, what have you got?
Thank you very much. Well, we're down here in pit 4B with Raw Motorsports, Rob's Wrongans and Ben Stone. Ben, second place overall at the moment.
Yeah, we're second place. I think we're still a lap down, unfortunately, so we're just fighting to get back on the lead lap. I don't actually know where we lost the second lap. We had a drive-through penalty early on. Unfortunately, it put us a lap down, and then I think we've lost the second. But we're now 1 lap down and about 30 seconds on top of that. So we're just waiting for the driver change. Maybe it'll level up. So wait for another safety car. See what happens.
Yeah, if you get caught the wrong side of the safety car, you could quickly lose a lap, can't you?
Yeah, that's the issue. Yeah, just pure luck of the draw where you happen to file out between the safety car.
Where it tends to come out. So yeah, but you have to say Doris's boys, they're a little bit quick, aren't they?
Yeah, well, you know, you bring a Le Mans driver in and a couple of other pros. You know, that's what you get.
But, you enjoying yourself?
Yeah, it's fantastic. First time I've ever been to the Birkett. So yeah, really enjoying it. It's great. Really fun day.
Oh, you're a novice then?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's great. First one. It's it feels like a long race, but yeah, looking forward to the second stint, and it's been
you've done a stint.
I've done a whole stint. Done an hour. Got another hour to go in about 45 minutes.
So well, what do you normally race in? What series?
This year I've done Radical Challenge in an SR3, and I've done the Praga Championship as well, which has been good. We just finished up last weekend.
So and then you come and do the event. So what's it? Well, as a newcomer, we've done this for years. you know, we love it. But what's it like as a newcomer?
It's complete madness. it's like you're driving the wrong way down a motorway. Especially in a Radical, obviously the closing speeds are massive. So you've got you just have to get your eyes on stalks, trying to work out what everyone's going to do, because if one car's overtaking another car, then you've got another car overtaking that, and you're going around 3-4 cars in one corner at some point. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there is a knack, isn't there? Those guys who have done this before really know how to weave in and out of traffic. We were talking this earlier, and that some guys can get very close to qualifying times, but you have to look so far down the road, don't you?
Yeah, I mean it's quite a different skill in a way, because you've got to try and anticipate what 3 cars are doing and how they're going to. Some are oversteering around the corner and working out how they're going to slide and whether they've seen you, or it's just kind of managing the risk, if you like.
So who's currently out there? I take it you've got John here, so it must be Chris.
To go out, so yeah, Chris Breen's out at the moment. I think he's coming towards the end of his stint. How long we got? 20 minutes left, and then John's out, and then I'm out. See ya.
Okay, Ben. And great to talk to you, and enjoy the rest of the day.
You too. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thank you very much. And there we are. It's Ben Stone, first time here at the Birkett, running in second place at the moment. So it's back to you in the studio.
Thanks very much indeed, Lewis. Safety car lights are out, so it looks as if we're going to go back racing again any moment. News from the pit lane is that the team that had been leading on handicap, the Team 1 RF Team Flywheel, last year's winners, uncharacteristic mistake. They were caught speeding in the pit lane. They've had a 10-second stop and go penalty, and I'm sure that's now why they are no longer leading the handicap part of this race. Andy McEwen.
Right, okay, yes, that is a rare mistake. They tend to be up there near the front at the end of the race, don't they? But that will have cost them a fair bit of time, not just the 10 seconds for the stop-go, but the transit time through the pit lane as well. Race then gets back underway, 2 hours 25 minutes left on the clock. And once again, we bunch everybody back together. We put some people at the front of the queue who are perhaps not the outright pace setters. I haven't yet seen one of the rapid radicals coming through to take the restart, so they're clearly buried further back in the pack. Here they come, the race leading Doris NWH car heads into Copse Corner now. And when everyone is bunched together like this, it becomes that much easier to trip over each other, especially since we may have some drivers out there who are reasonably fresh into their stints, so still trying to find their feet out there. So nervy times here, as always, on a safety car restart. Let's hope they can all keep it clean.
Yep, that's right. So green flags waving all around the circuit, of course, to let the drivers know that the race is back underway. Still some cars just only making it now over the line, so not necessarily that well bunched behind the safety cars. Another of the radicals coming through, hard to tell from that shot which one it is. You can see that Paul Collingwood is out there at the moment in Team 10, Run Baby Run, in the Eclipse SM1. He's done pretty well towards the end of the Sport Specials season with a few victories towards the end of the year. But watching Team 3 here, and this is AAA's Racing, so this is one of the effigies, isn't it, to the moment, Andrew or Christopher that's out there. It is D, so it's Christopher at the moment, and of course that is the team that is at the 3-hour mark, at least leading on handicap, so they will be looking for a good consistent run to the end. In a way, they have the advantage of only having 2 cars, because those cars are less unpredictable in terms of their variation of performance than if you've got 3, 4, 5 or 6 cars. But there's also the extra risk that if something goes wrong, it could be disastrous for the team.
Yeah, they don't have a spare, really, do they? If one car is out, then that's likely to be their race over. There goes the number 1 car, by the way. Trying to pick out who that is. That looked Ford Fiesta-ish to me, so that's Simon Frauen now, I think, who has taken over the RAF car. Slightly smoky number 3 BMW there, coming through the right-hander at Club Corner, and ends up in a 3 abreast situation into Abbey. Just makes it work. They all squeeze through the corner without contact, but they're taking some risks in traffic, aren't they? I think they know that they're running reasonably well on the handicap at least, and want to try and keep hold of that trap position. They're running 5th position overall, and it's another sign that the handicap is starting to work itself out, because in the first couple of hours, the handicap leader was often not inside the top 20 on the road, but with every bulletin, that leader is now further and further up the scratch race as well, so those quick cars are starting to get their time back.
Yes, that's right. Be interesting to see how it pans out. I mean, conversely, we're not seeing any of the radicals anywhere near the leading positions on handicap. Onboard, or with perfect timing there for Team 70. This is for one of the Mazda dudes. So see if we can work out. Anthony is coming round to point out it is C, Jeremy Rivers Fletcher, that is the driver that has we've now named and shamed as the one who's having a moment there in our onboard camera car.
Indeed, that was exciting, wasn't it? Slowest corner on the track, but still very easy to get it wrong. And this Smart 1 Mazda MX-5, which looks a lot of fun to drive. I'm hoping to have a go in one of these actually later on this year, and I was very excited. Having ridden on board now, though, I'm slightly less looking forward to it. It looks a little bit leery, this one, doesn't it? As it slides and wobbles its way through the final couple of corners. But Smart 1 Mazda MX-5 racing remains as popular as ever here in the UK, indeed within the 750 Motor Club as well, with the 5 Club MX-5 series continuing to go from strength to strength, and you can see why. It's a great way to start your motor racing journey, these cars. You can get hold of one for relatively little money, motor racing speak, and it is an awful lot of fun. You get a lot of bang for your buck with a Mark 1 Mazda, and as you can see there, even if it's not the fastest car on track, it's still a lot of fun to drive.
Yes, Jeremy Rivers Fletcher for the Mazda dudes they're in 67th position out of 70. It's not his first time driving the Birkett, but he's raced in Formula 4 1600 as Jerry, MGZS, and 1934 MGNA single-seater. There's lots of hill climb events as well as Jeremy. And he's saying, at 74, is he the oldest driver on the circuit today? And the answer is, I don't know the answer to that question. But he'll certainly be up there, won't he, as one of the veterans of this. I'm not aware of anyone that's older than that today, but if anyone knows different, then let us know in the comments on the YouTube live stream chat there.
Indeed so, that's pretty impressive stuff. Here comes the Lumina towards us, and the number 41 Mark IV Mazda MX-5 too, the Mark IV MX-5 racing team, inventive name there for Ben Taylor, Paul Sheard and Andrew Pretorius, and that car staying out of trouble as it comes down through Brooklands. There, the number 30, the RJ Motorsport 2 car, their lap time as well. At the moment it's hard to tell because we're not fully back up to speed after the safety car restart, really, are we? They were doing their best to try and get this lap back on the teammate car, number 29, that they have at times been a little bit faster than over the course of the race. Class D, as we've said, still being led by Doris NWH, Class B by AAA's Racing. That Class B battle actually separating slightly more than it has been at earlier parts in the race. Class A, headed by Breakdancers 1, that's the number 55 squad. Alan Curtis, Harry Eyre and Tim Steele's trio of Caterhams. And that is the number 1 car. That's Frauen off the road. So it's going from bad to worse now for the RAF number 1 squad. They were leading on handicap. They had that 10-second stop-go penalty for speeding. And now, unfortunately, Simon Frauen pulling off the road. That looks like it's somewhere up towards the Aintree area, I reckon. But anyway, the car going nowhere fast.
Yeah, and that, you suspect, is the end of Team 1's hopes of retaining their handicap title. RAF Motorsports as they were last year, RAF Team Flywheel as they are this year. Chris Slater and Simon Frauen, the links between the two driver lineups from season to season, but it looks like their hopes of reprising that 2021 victory are now coming to. Look how busy this circuit is. Through Stoke Corner and down to the Vale, blue lights. They might as well just leave the blue lights on permanently there, I think, because there's so many cars coming through differing speeds. It's very hectic indeed. One of the Z4 teams coming through, and the other Z4 team, and you know it's a BMW Z4 team because it's got the Alpha in it. That's how you know that, and that is of course the car driven by Barry McMahon, who drives in the Z Cars 3 team. I don't know if he got the wrong details on the invitation or what, but he's joined the Z Cars 3 team with Darren Duke, Steve Wood and Chris Murphy.
Indeed so, and I think I know which of those cars I'd rather be in as well if I were in that team. The Z cars look a lot of fun, but you can't beat an Alpha. So 54 car, actually trying to get up the inside of one of the Z cars there. That's the 53B.
Chris Bates.
Chris Bates.
Callum Bates,
yeah.
sorry.
Callum Bates, yeah. So teammate car. Right then, in the 4th position is RJ Motorsport. They're chasing down a podium place, and Lewis Beals has made his way down to their garage now.
Oh, thank you very much there. Yes, I'm down in RJ Motorsport 2 with Leon Morel. Leon, you're running 4th at the moment. That's not bad.
No, not bad. Could be better, but not bad. We've had a couple of issues today. Nothing dramatic. We've had my car's actually an oil pump failure, so the lads are on with fixing that now and hoping to get that back out for the last stint. It could be worse because we're actually 1 stop up on everyone else, so we're hoping we can finish with just 1 more stop. So that will get us maybe a lap back. Yeah, true Birkett fashion, a part that's never failed before has failed. You know what I mean? Simple, a genuine Suzuki item, not no one else's fault. Something you can't service. So yeah, it just is what it is. You win some, you lose some, don't you? You know.
Yeah, you've done the Birkett before then.
No, I've never raced at the Birkett. It's first year.
First year. So how do you find it?
Really enjoyable. I did the start, which was amazing. Got to race with the other 4 radicals up front. Was pleased with my pace. Mega tricky conditions. Didn't drop the ball, didn't do anything stupid. We came in second. We've just gone backwards a bit from there, to be truthful. Not because of lack of pace, just an unfortunate problem. So disappointing, but we're still pushing. There's still 2.5 hours to go, so it's not over yet, is it?
No, that's the thing with endurance racing, isn't it? If you have a problem, you're going to lose time. You've just got to hope your rivals do as well.
Yeah, I know at the minute the handicap system sort of favours the slower cars when the weather's bad. When the track goes good, it should swing. So we should now claw back on the handicap cars in front of us. So we'll see how that works. We'll see if we can close the gap and get back up there. I think P1 is probably out of our reach maybe now. But let's hope for a strong last couple hours and see where we end up.
That's a good way to approach it, Leon. Leon, you were saying you've had a good season in the Radical Challenge.
Yeah, fantastic year with the 750 Motor Club. We raced in the Bike Sports Championship, won the championship last year, and then second this year. Mega close season racing. I went faster at every single track we went to. I set a lap record. I improved massively. Unfortunately, just one person was better than me.
Who was that, by the way?
A friend of mine, Simon Walkansel. I can live with someone being better providing I'm not doing worse than normal. So proud of my progression this year. Welcomed Simon's competitiveness. It was obviously two good friends, close racing all year, like neck and neck. Brands Hatch, we were separated 3 cars within 200ths of a second in qualifying, and we all had a first, all had a second, all had a third. So we were literally the exact same pace. So yeah, mega clean racing, and yeah, hopefully we'll get some more new guys in next year and have another year of the same.
Well, yeah, because that is the same thing with bike sports or any of the Formula with the 750s. Always good, clean racing.
Yeah, just decent guys. I mean, none of us are multi-millionaires. We all want to polish the car on a Sunday afternoon when we get home. Ultimately, we're still flat out, and our lap times are up there with all the other sports prototype championships. It's not like bike sports should be looked upon as a B series, because we're setting lap times that the others are setting as well. So, you know, the pace in the championship this year has been really strong. I'm pleased to have been able to push Simon as hard as we did all year. Shame we didn't win, but you can't win everything, can you? So,
all right, Liam, thank you very much, and I hope your boys fix the car and we can see you back out on track later.
yeah, fingers crossed. Thanks to all the marshals and all the 750 guys for a good event. Hopefully see you again next year.